Ever heard of a senior FDA official resigning just months into the job during a critical moment for gene therapy? Well, that's exactly what happened with Dr. Vinay Prasad. This isn't just another Washington exit. It's a high-stakes story packed with scientific disputes, political noise, and a controversial drug at the center of it all. If you're wondering what triggered the sudden resignation, why it matters to everyday Americans, and what it could mean for the future of genetic medicine, you're in the right place. Let's break it all down. Dr. Vinay Prasad was brought on board in May as head of the FDA's Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research. This role put him in charge of vaccines, cell therapies, and high-stakes biotech approvals. He was also given the title of Chief Medical and Scientific Officer, signaling the administration's trust in his expertise. Prasad had long been known for questioning the effectiveness of certain medical treatments and for urging more evidence-based policy. So his appointment sparked both excitement and skepticism across medical and political circles. The turning point? Sarepta Therapeutics and its gene therapy drug Elevidys. Prasad had raised concerns about the treatment well before joining the FDA, citing a lack of strong clinical evidence. Once inside the agency, he reportedly pushed back against its prior approval. Then came the tipping point. A patient in Brazil died after receiving Elevidys. The FDA briefly paused its shipment, only to lift the hold a day before Prasad stepped down. That timeline raised serious eyebrows and fueled speculation that his exit was linked to internal disagreements. While the Department of Health and Human Services stated that Dr. Prasad stepped down to avoid becoming a distraction, there's clearly more to this story. According to insiders, political pressure was mounting fast. Conservative commentators and some political allies of former President Trump questioned Prasad's loyalty. Past social media posts and his podcasting history were dissected, with some critics branding him as too aligned with progressive voices like Senator Bernie Sanders. The narrative caught fire, even though no direct political statements were made by Prasad himself. Inside the FDA, Prasad reportedly ruffled feathers by challenging long-standing processes. One controversial move, Sarepta's Elevidys drug, remains a focal point of this entire situation. It's a gene therapy developed for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, a rare and devastating disease. At the heart of the controversy is whether the drug had enough proven benefit to justify its approval and hefty cost. Prasad's call for more rigorous data mirrored concerns in the broader medical community, yet Sarepta's backers pointed to the urgent needs of affected families. It's a delicate balance, speed versus safety, hope versus evidence. And now, a resignation has brought it all into the spotlight. Even FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty Makary stepped in to defend Prasad just days before the resignation. He called him one of the greatest scientific minds of our generation, highlighting the value Prasad brought to the agency. Still, when the narrative becomes about politics instead of policy, it's hard to keep the focus on science. For many, Prasad's departure is another sign that regulatory agencies are caught in the crossfire of America's culture wars, where even medical oversight becomes a political battlefield. So what happens next? For the FDA, questions loom large about how to handle future gene therapies and controversial approvals. With more cutting-edge drugs hitting the pipeline, the agency needs both strong leadership and public trust. For Sarepta, the scrutiny is unlikely to fade, and how they respond to these events may shape their reputation for years to come. Investors, patients, and advocacy groups will all be watching closely. And yes, further inquiries into Elevidys could follow, depending on upcoming data and safety reviews. As for Dr. Vinay Prasad, he's reportedly returning to California to focus on teaching and clinical work. But don't expect him to disappear from the national conversation. His voice remains influential in healthcare policy, and he may even become a prominent figure during the next election cycle. His experience at the FDA, short as it was, has only added to his credibility among those questioning the current regulatory model. Whether that leads to future roles or simply more public commentary remains to be seen. This story is more than just one man stepping down. It reflects the challenges of modern medicine, the weight of political influence, and the fine line between innovation and oversight. In a world where health policy decisions affect millions, trust and transparency matter more than ever. We'll continue to follow the Sarepta case, upcoming FDA changes, and what this could all mean for the future of gene therapy in the United States. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest stories in science and policy. One major question now is how this controversy could affect public confidence in the FDA itself. For many Americans, the agency is supposed to be a neutral, science-driven body. But in cases like this, where leadership exits are tied to political heat and controversial treatments, that image can start to crack. The FDA has a tough job, balancing innovation with safety, speed with caution. And when internal disputes become public, it can feed skepticism at a time when trust in institutions is already fragile. Meanwhile, biotech companies across the country are watching this case closely. Sarepta isn't the only firm developing high-cost genetic therapies. In fact, dozens of companies are racing to bring new treatments for rare diseases to market. But with that comes higher stakes. These drugs often cost hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars per patient. The pressure on the FDA to both approve quickly and demand solid evidence has never been greater. Prasad's departure sends a signal that regulatory debates are only going to intensify. Ultimately, this isn't just a Washington drama. It's a real-world story with real-world impact. Families dealing with rare diseases, biotech investors, scientists, and policymakers are all affected. Dr. Vinay Prasad's resignation marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing battle over how America regulates its most advanced medicines. Whether this sparks reforms, new leadership approaches, or shifts in public health policy will become clearer in the months ahead. But one thing's certain, this story isn't over, and we'll be here to keep you updated every step of the way.